Mistreatment on a national level in South Africa began in 1948 with the installation of the apartheid when the National Party was voted into power. The apartheid is very similar to segregation in the United States. These laws took the practices of white supremacy and caused a separation of white and black South Africans in public facilities and caused racial tension. The majority of South Africans are black, so this caused much conflict within the country.
This small country store behind me, with a customary crowd of idlers on the front porch, or stoop, as the South Africans call it, might be found in any small rural American community. But the dirt road that runs parallel to this small country store marks the beginning of the location in the town of Nelspruit, the African location where natives are forced to live. Nelspruit, a small mining town in the northern Transvaal, has for the past week been the focus of the racial tension in South Africa. It started with a protest march by some 400 native women on the police station. The women have long been more militant in their resistance to apartheid laws in South Africa than have been their menfolk. And in Nelspruit this week, the African woman has suddenly become the focal point of resistance to the nationalist government. Nelspruit on the surface, this rainy, humid day, looks as quiet as that scene on that rustic front porch of the store. But in reality, Nelspruit is still tense after a week of trouble. Big trouble and violence, even in South Africa. I asked for permission this morning to go inside the location at Nelspruit and make this film. We were told that there's been trouble there lately, and they'd rather not have any Europeans go inside.
The African National Congress, a political party in South Africa, led a revolution against the government. This war was known as the Third South African War. During the warfare, intellectuals of the party, such as Nelson Mandela, fled to the end of the country to escape persecution. At this time, they started to create a new nation. After 4 years of fighting, later becoming allies with the Dutch, in 1952, the African National Congress won the revolution and broke away from South Africa. In the country, the 9 main indigenous tribes in the region became districts within the country. These districts are self-governing and are a way to maintain the culture and traditions of indigenous tribes in the area. The country was named after one of the great civil rights leaders and would be called Cape Nelson. Nelson Mandela would later become the nation's first head of state. Under his leadership, he helped to provide peace and end racial separation in the country. The country was founded on the ideals of freedom of expression, environmentalism, universal aid, equality for all, justice, and security. Freedom of expression guarantees the freedom of voicing your opinions without persecution and promises the right of citizens to know the government's activities. Environmentalism is the right of citizens to have clean energy usage at all times to protect the country and the earth. Universal aid is the right for everyone to have housing, healthcare, and free education, no matter their class and economic situation. Equality is the right for every person in the country to be provided an equal opportunity to succeed no matter their race, gender, or religion. Justice includes law enforcement. This department is established to provide order and regulate crime. Police units are in every district of Cape Nelson. To become an officer, you have to receive training from the government, and there will be additional training every 3 years to help maintain proper procedure. The Coast Guard is included in the justice system to protect citizens on the coast of the country. Cape Nelson was founded on the ideal of equality, so the police departments are supposed to uphold this. If an officer is convicted of mistreating a citizen, they will be immediately removed and will never participate in a justice, security, and government position again. Security includes military protection. The military helps the country to not be annexed and helps to provide defense. The military of Cape Nelson includes the Air Force. This department controls air defense. The Army provides defense for the wars fought on international soil. The Navy provides defense on water. The Navy includes the first line of soldiers to fight on land during wars, the brigade. The last branch of the military is the medical unit. These doctors and nurses will aid injured soldiers. In Cape Nelson, there is the right to bear arms with regulation. A very detailed screening process will be completed to make sure the person will use the weapon appropriately. During the war, when the intellectuals started creating a new country, they thought about the problems in the world and how this country could create policies to fix them. This first started with a semi-direct democracy. The citizens' votes would directly elect leaders. These leaders would govern the country, while the citizens are able to impeach leaders, propose, amend, and reject laws. A constitution is used in the country as a document to define the power of the leaders. In Cape Nelson, citizens have the right to override government decisions, and federal laws can overrule the district laws if it goes against the ideals of the nation. To provide equal power distribution, the leaders of the country are three capital leaders. Each person has a specific department of management, and all are able to ratify laws. The three departments of management are trading, environmental, and administrative. The head of trading controls the imports and exports of the country and also the negotiations of trading with other nations. The head of environmental helps to safely extract natural resources and maintain the use of clean energy at all times in Cape Nelson. The head of administration ensures that security and law enforcement would maintain their ideals and continue equality in Cape Nelson. The head of state is a diplomatic leader that would have less influence in Cape Nelson than the capital leaders. The head of state proposes treaties to other countries and makes allies overseas. The main allies of Cape Nelson are Canada, France, Germany, Japan, Madagascar, South Africa, and the United States of America. In these countries, embassies are set up there, but we have no involvement in their wars. In each of the 9 districts, there is one district leader. This person becomes a legislative branch member in the country that proposes the laws of the citizens to the capital leaders. In addition, the district leader regulates the living environments and law enforcement for people in the district. In Cape Nelson, there are direct elections. The minimum voting age is 18 years old, and every 2 years, each citizen chooses 3 capital leaders, 1 head of state, and 1 district leader to be elected. In each election, the candidates have the opportunity to answer citizens' questions about issues in the style of a town hall meeting. To become a candidate for an electoral position, you must be 35 years or older. Each person's term is unlimited. In Cape Nelson, the justice branch includes judges. There are 7 judges in each district and 7 national judges. If there are any trials for a crime or a dispute, district and national judges are appointed by capital leaders and have the job until they die, resigned, or are removed. If there are any trials for a crime or dispute, it would first go to the district court. If they are not settled, it will go to the national court system. To help the health of the citizens and the environment, in Cape Nelson, the minimum drinking age of alcohol is 21 years old, and tobacco is banned in the country. By banning tobacco, it stops the action of secondhand smoke and decreases the likelihood of diseases such as cancer and asthma. In Cape Nelson, all drugs are illegal. Cannabidiol or CBD extract are available at pharmacies as an over-the-counter medicine. CBD extract is a non-psychoactive compound in marijuana that is currently used as medicine to reduce the symptoms of cancer patients. Providing the citizens in the country the most control helps to create a society where the policies favor the majority and not one group.